good evening, good night. Welcome. This is Lost Wages Second Chances. Tonight's episode entitled Many Loving Boxfuls of Empty Hearts. And I am your storyteller, Nobody. So welcome, welcome, and welcome. And most importantly, thank you all for your time, your energy, and your efforts. So, as per my previous email, no, in all seriousness, all relative seriousness, of course, this is the start. And then we begin, one frothy step in front of the other. So, let me put on my thinking cap. Let me grab a beverage. I'll be right back, and that will be the last and final reprieve for any additional players that might make it, and then we're going to hit the ground running. Welcome, Martha. How we doing? Give me one quick second. I'll be right back.
Okay.
And welcome back, everybody. This is, without a shadow of a doubt, Lost Wages, Second Chances. This is our little bi-weekly getaway to the city of sin, to the great oasis in the middle of the desert that is Las Vegas, Nevada. It is a place that is evocative of so many considerations. It is a modern day Sodom and Gomorrah. It is a oasis where the sins of everyday life don't apply. It is a utopian anarchy. Or at least that's the common zeitgeist when considering Las Vegas. You go for the entertainment. You go to eat the lotus. You go to Las Vegas to stop being whoever you were before you got on the plane, before you got on the train, before you got in the bus, or before you got on the road. Touching down, crossing the border into Las Vegas is a step into fantasy most. For the bulk of Las Vegas's ecosystem, its carefully, chaotically constructed world of sin, vice, graft, and then all the other worse things. For most, for the tourists, for the visitors, for the interlopers, for the invaders. That's what it is. The fantasy. For those who dwell there, it is a non-stop hustle. It is a non-stop grind. It is all of the promise that if your hand is out, there's a chance of getting a little bit more to help you survive a little bit longer. The gratuity system in Las Vegas is like no other, or at least it had been. It was the leader in creating avenues for additional gratuity and payment for those in the service industry, those related to the service industry, those who help you get to those in the service industry, the porter who helped load your bag into the taxi driver, the limo driver, the bus driver, the concierge, the desk attendant, the night auditor, the security officers, the pit boss, the dealer, the croupier, the hotel managers, the resort managers, the food and beverage managers, your barista, your bartender, your server, your chef. Now, the gratuity industry in Las Vegas permutated across the country, across the globe, across all spaces that catered to, dealt with, or suffered through the American spirit. It is still the place where a little extra, a little more, is baked into the culture, but it no longer is as unusual as it had once been. That little bit extra is what brings us to tonight's episode. Many loving boxfuls of empty hearts. When we last left Martha and Fancy, they were being gently escorted into transportation. They had found that their agency, their privacy, and their security of peace had been, well, violated. They'd been tracked, followed, and watched, and, well, what do you expect when committing one crime to obfuscate another? The vehicle that they made away from the morgue with, holding the bodies of dearly departed loved ones and others, all co-opted, now trundling along behind them as they are escorted somewhere else. As they are being escorted, is there any conversation that they are engaging in, considering thus far, outside of being kidnapped, outside of being shuffled and shunted into the vehicle, perhaps a little more forcefully than expected, wished, or wanted, they are unharmed.
Yeah, we should probably talk to these guys, try to see who they are.
I agree. But at the same time, do they really seem like the type to be all that chatty since they just grabbed us up like they did? I mean, and they left our fucking van. I just got that fucking thing.
I don't know, we're pretty charming.
Hold on, I just heard my door. Okay, sorry about that. Back. I guess let's see. Fancy's the one with the gift of the gab typically. So let me see what we got.
And you can feel the hum and grinding moan of the road beneath the tires tread, moving unlighted through the dark. The bright halogen lights that were used to corral you all, to chase you up and to pin you in, no longer on. The headlights, even, no longer on. They're running dark. The only lights that are on are the lights of the vehicle behind you.
And we're all but sure these guys are kindred.
Did you bite them?
No. But, Fancy, I don't know. I was gonna maybe try to use mesmerize and see where that gets me. Because cloud memory won't work. They're still driving us. We need to get, like, dropped off before we do that. Or, you know, we got it's beautiful, so social roles. We could just kind of lean slightly over the seat to the passenger that she's sitting behind. So, gentlemen.
The gentleman, or at least you believe that they're a gentleman, riding in the back seat with you just pushes you back with the butt of his gun.
I'm gonna need you to not fucking do that again. What's your problem?
Move.
I'm an American citizen. I can do what the fuck I want. Again.
Citizenship ends with death.
Really? Now, do I look dead to you? I'm talking and sitting here and moving.
We understand what the masquerade is there for, ma'am. Citizenship ends with death.
Like a Martha. See? They're hard-headed. They don't like talking. Or explaining what the fuck this is about.
I guess not.
We believe it's quite obvious. You are being ferried to a place where you can be interviewed.
And who is taking us there?
Even though the balaclava and the helmeted head, you can tell that that person is frowning when you say, and who is taking us there. And while they don't actually say it, you very much get the understanding. Motherfucker, us! Goddamn! While that's not verbalized, everything else about that very much is.
I lean very carefully over to Martha, like putting my mouth practically against their ear and lowering my tone. So imagine this is whispered. I'm not going to whisper because it'll make it hard to hear. I know he has a gun, but there's two of us and one of him back here. Do we think we can take him out? I mean, they're not going to really want to fire in close proximity of each other, right?
I whisper back, I don't know. I'm not much of a fighter.
But do we really want to be kidnapped tonight, or are we wanting to get out of here?
Well, I'd like to get out of here, but I also don't really want to get shot.
You're no fun. Fine. I guess we can see where we're going.
You all can make out on your own time.
Oh, it's because your mom wasn't available tonight. I'm sorry.
To say that the drive is a act of aggravation and annoyance would be underselling how violated it feels to have your agency of freedom and movement and thought and conversation taken away from you as one would a ticket to a concert. Having your tickets punched or to go see a movie. It's not really a thing that belongs to you, but there's still always that moment of, especially if the ticket agent reaches across and actually takes it from you without you offering it directly. It feels like an invasion. It feels as if, well, what it actually is, a bit of disrespect, having something taken. And in the moment, what's taken from you both is your agency, your ability to speak freely, your ability to control where it is that you alight. And it feels like, well, as you all make your way where you're making your way. Celeste, Vegas is a city on the move. It is a city that is built upon, well, the very real aphorism that a fool and their money will soon part. And everything in the city is designed to make sure that every fool that comes here for some fantastical idea is separated from their wealth as quickly and politely as possible. And politeness is the added value. There are still places in Las Vegas where it is unsafe for tourists. There are still places in Las Vegas where it is unsafe for locals. Like every metropolis of any size, Las Vegas eats its young. Like every metropolis where there are too many people too closely together, packed in and shunted aside and viewed as cogs in the wheel, there are places, there are people, there are whole institutions designed to remove everything of value from everyone else. As a driver, you tend to avoid such places. Even dead, there are certain places that you would much rather not. And unfortunately, tonight, of all nights, you find yourself waiting warily in your livery in one such place. As you sit there in your vehicle, waiting on your livery, you're in what most people consider the UMC. It's the University Medical Center. It's the hospital campus that dominates the southern part of the Rancho Nevada Estates area, near Rancho Circle, on the other side of the 11 and the 17, just across from the premium outlets there in the Palomino area. It is, well, to be honest, a cesspool. It is where the flotsam of Las Vegas wind up eventually for various reasons. And it is still spitting distance from the strip. It is just the other side of the downtown area. I-15 cutting through where it meets the I-10, the 10 there leaves you with the dividing line of the expressway to reach to get to safety. The UMC averages about 2 violent crimes a day, requiring, demanding interdiction and interaction with LVPD. So as you wait for your livery, you wait for the far too wealthy to be in this area if you were up to anything even remotely good, what is going through your mind?
Really hope that nobody jumps me right now. I'd hate to wash blood off of my car right now.
And then there's the fact that you'd have to get blood out of your car. There's no way that, even with as bullet resistant as the windows are, there's no way that as stain resistant your leather and fabrics of your vehicle are, that if something were to go sideways, that it would not end up inside your vehicle. That's the part that sucks most. When your livery gave you the address, it felt as if some creepy, crawly were making themselves at home beneath your vest, beneath your suit coat, beneath your shirt, crawling along the usually well-covered portions of your lower back, making themselves at home, dancing on your very last jangled nerve. The UMC, this fucker is supposed to be a CFO for a Fortune 500 company. And they came to the UMC. Part of your hard-earned and hard-won common sense was screaming at you, this is bad, this is bad, this is so fucking bad. Yet here you are. Because unlike your usual rate for ferrying around mortals, this is roughly $65 to $126 per minute of you waiting. Your phone rings.
Suppose I should answer that.
Miss Noir, you are working, yes?
Yes.
Good. I give you address. You have 26 minutes. Be there.
Yes.
The call ends. It's not unusual for Kindred to make demands of your time. It's not unusual for them to expect you to work miracles. Because there's still an ebb and flow to traffic. There's still... Who are you kidding? Once you get to the expressway, the speed limit is a suggestion at best, especially with your radar detector and all of the other oops that you keep operational. To avoid the police, the sheriffs, both county, state, and city. And the Green Valley Henderson area isn't exactly that far. You know for a fact that if you are spot on and absolutely perfect, you can make it in about 22 minutes. Question is, with your fare, your livery inside that house of ill repute, making you an accessory to at least 3 crimes that you can think of without actually having to need verification, or do you respond to the usually far safer, matter of fact businesses that pays, i.e., that pertaining to and dealing with the kindred.
I would rather respond to the phone call instead of waiting in a part of town that is suspicious at best.
So would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your resolve plus drive DC 3? Every success that you get over the 3 means, of course, you shave off a few seconds of time. Every result beneath that DC 3 means you add time, and if you fail bestially, you will run afoul of some police officer who is someplace where he shouldn't be, and, well, good luck with that.
This is her first time rolling with Eugenes, so you might want to walk her through it.
Alright, so, right there, fate casting lots. If you would be so kind as to I'll copy the syntax for you and toss it your way. That way you can roll at your leisure. Uh-oh. And I can't type or spell tonight, sorry. So, in your channel, you will see the syntax that you'll type into Eugenes, okay? Do it. There we go. And if you enter that syntax, you're off to the races, and we will see how well fate enjoys Celeste's presence. Or if it, as per usual, much like time, is the thief of always. Speaking of theft, Martha, Fancy, it would be a nice drive if it wasn't for the fact that you were in fact kidnapped. It would be a nice drive if, for a fact, you didn't have 2 bodies to dispose of. It would be a nice drive if you were not, well, where you are. Far too soon and far too long, you all are arriving at an estate. But not just any estate. It is one that you've all heard about and perhaps have even had the opportunity of visiting previously. And have either of you all dealt with, engaged with the red trade, the blood trade? Have either of you all ever had the opportunity or need to engage with the local circulatory system?
I don't believe Martha does. She tends to get her food from her work.
Nancy?
A little bit, actually, because some of her girls aren't star material, and they would probably make maybe a little better money being in the blood trade. It's more like she makes a deal with the person, like, hey, I know I'm going to provide this girl for you, but you need to treat them well, and I will be checking on them. Type of situation, not your average blood doll sort of thing. But that's pretty much her just a bit, that and then the experience they had with Luca out in the desert, she knows where that was going. But other than that, yeah, no, it's not. She's not too far into it.
Well, she's been to the dispensary there on North Gibson. She's visited, and she has associates who have frequented the place. While most living individuals and some kindred only believe that it is in fact a marijuana dispensary that sells a little, heroin on the side, a little coke to spruce things up, a little hash. You know that there's a joke therein. The joke is that yes, it's a dispensary and it does illegality, and it is also a place that is the gateway into the local circulatory system. It is the main point of contact for Adut Vladatel. It is the Russians' primary place of occupation and business. It is very much where bad things can and have happened. Well, as you all arrive at the dispensary, is there anything that you all are preparing, going to share, or offer?
I really hope we make it out of this alive or undead, because I have things I need to do. I need the Garuja to go off without a hitch. And I'm saying this low because I'm not wanting them to overhear. You can re-roll if you want.
Fine. Yeah, fancy if she knows anything about this place. I don't.
Is that your final roll, or would you like to hit that re-roll failures button?
I will re-roll.
Oh, that's what fate said.
That
Anyway.
I'll roll.
There's a problem that you all have, and it's sitting there in front of your face. Earlier this evening, you had a visit from one of your coterie members who informed you that he was, in fact, being monitored. And that part of the reason why for him being monitored was his dealings with his contact, Adut Vladatel. And here you all are at the gateway drug to one of the processing centers, or any number of the processing centers that Adut has to collect the blood that he uses and pimps throughout Las Vegas. Sometimes things are so obvious that, nah, no way, get out. And then sometimes, as they say these days, it is what it is. Speaking of which, as you, Celeste, make your way onto the 15 to cut across using the 215 to swing wide and up Stephanie, just as you're crossing Eastern. You're exiting Paradise and moving down the 215 because you're going to cut across and avoid most of the red and whites light up your mirror. The red and whites appear like danger fairies in your rear view. The fact that you were doing easily 30 over the speed limit, that's secondary to the fact that you as a kindred know that every interaction, every conversation, every text, tweet, chirp with law enforcement is akin to playing Russian roulette with a fully loaded revolver. Every chamber has a bullet, and you're hoping that one of them is a dud. So as the danger fairies appear in your rear view, what is it that you're doing? What is it that you're thinking? What is it that you're going to or not going to do?
Well, shit. I'm just trying to get paid. I'ma keep driving.
Are you trying to lose them? Are you going dark? Are you just going to race them to your destination?
Yep. Racing them to my destination.
Okay. That being the answer, would you be so kind as go ahead and roll your composure plus drive? Your DC is 3. As you
+1 for your evasion.
grit your teeth. As you grit your teeth and mash that gas pedal through the bottom of your floor. And while that's happening, and we wait with bated breath for what fate decides for the crosstown commute for Celeste, as you all step out of the loving clutches of the back seat of your escort vehicle, you realize that the van is also pulling in to park in the parking lot of the dispensary.
I think I just figured it out. And I get close to Martha. That Russian guy I duped, that fucking Eugene was talking about. This is his operation. I swear I want to fucking kill Eugene.
Interesting. Premier, do I know anything about this?
What, the blood trade?
This is a Dude's guy.
The local blood czar or would-be blood czar who handles and controls and sets the pricing for all of the lovely obtained blood that circulates through Las Vegas. One of the open secrets for maintaining the masquerade, one of the open paths of keeping control, is controlling the blood flow. Keeping everyone satiated enough that you don't have tourists disappearing. Keeping every kindred beholden as much as possible to the circulatory system, to the local blood trade. Because much like the lion who only works when they're hungry, kindred are far less and by far it's 1% here, 3% there, less threatening to the world of the living if they're too busy with their own personal jihads, and if they're too busy being satiated, or at least not quite ravenous. And the best way for larger domains, especially domains that depend on tourism and travel and free flow of money into the place from tourists, is the blood trade. It's not a public utility, but it is very, very fucking close.
Yeah, this is a shit situation to be in right now, and I'm not a fan, but I will go along and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, they were offering to, well, offering is a strong word, but they were threatening to take over catering for us, which, like I said to Yuji, was one less thing for you to worry about, so that's something.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't like people twisting my arm or threatening me. If you're gonna ask me something and let me decide. Don't force your fucking hand or force my hand. That's the problem I have with this. And I guess we're gonna just, go along with it or whatever, but at the same time, it's fucking highway robbery and pirate behavior.
And as you all are escorted in, it very much feels like walking the plank. It very much does feel like you have been shanghaied, you have been stolen, you have been absconded with. Your person is no longer your person. You are simply, well, the possessor of someone else's toy for the evening. As you all are escorted past the row upon row upon row of various seedlings and saplings and bushes that have yet to be harvested, past the row and row of glass cases showing off what they could become, different strange, different potencies, past the life draining overhead lights, some of them blinking and clicking the electronic buzz as you all make your way through a surprisingly humid, moist environment. Through what is clearly an employee gathering space. Not quite an employee break room, but it's probably as close as they ever come to such a thing on this premise. Through the office space where the middle managers are chained to their cubicles. Not literally, but very close, because there's still people there counting and adding up money. Down a flight of rickety steel and iron stairs into a space that is no less humid, but slightly cooler. Almost as if you all have been sweated or misted, and now all of that liquid is evaporating from the skin, causing the air to seem several degrees cooler. And everyone always says that hell is a hot, fiery place. Brick, stone, grate along the floor and several seats around a folding table. The armed forces nudging you all forward to those chairs. And on the opposite side of that folding table, thrumming his fingers along the white, slick plastic, is the man, the myth, the legend himself, Adult Vladatel, everyone's favorite warlord, everyone's favorite despot, everyone's favorite friend. Oh, hello, friends. How are you?
I was having a productive night before your friends invited me.
No. Things are not what you think they are. You are followed by, well, your family, your friends, your clan, the warlocks, the witches, the oogly boogly. You are in great jeopardy.
Friends
Usually,
kidnap friends at gunpoint.
Why not? You have very poor friends. Very boring if they don't. You are aware of the old saying, if you want something to be fucked up, do it yourself. So I do it myself. You are here, you are safe, you are with friend. And we want to be friends, yes?
I always want more friends. I'm a friendly person.
This is good. This is good. I hear that blondes have more fun anyway. And he runs his fingers through his slightly reddish, almost orange, blondish buzz cut. So we have friend in common. Friend that is working off debt for me for jeopardizing operations. This friend that we have in common is also, well, trouble agent, working with the Tremere to invade my operations, but really, actually, honestly, working for me, so that I know what the dirty, disgusting, duplicitous, dangerous Tremere are actually up to.
I think Pyramid is plotting something is like saying water is wet. It is the
But
nature.
water is not wet. What water touches becomes wet. Water cannot touch self. It's water makes things wet. Water is not wet. No matter how much water touches other water, it is still water. However, when water touches something else, it makes that something else wet.
I suppose.
No, don't suppose. Suppose says that I am a liar, and you would not insult me like this. No? Yes?
I'm still trying to make friends, so no.
Exactly. You would not call me lie, so don't call me lie by accident. Suppose means you are unsure. I just told you. How can you be unsure when I just tell you? Unless, of course, I'm lying.
Make a fair point.
There is honest way to say this. For instance, and he pauses and he looks, engages your eye color. Your eyes are the color of a noonday cloudless morning. So that means that they are green. Do you agree?
No.
Exactly. Honest communication does not have various grays between. You didn't call me a lie, you said you disagree. This is good. Now, if you were to say, well, I suppose from a certain vantage point, you called me lie, but you tried to sneak it past. We don't sneak things into each other, not friends. Maybe bullets, but that's a different story.
Sure.
So, you are here because you are in jeopardy. I save you. And we can discuss cost of me saving you. Or, and this is the thing. This is big thing for you. Your hotel. Your new hotel. Genie Boy tells me everything about your hotel. It is place for party you are throwing. Special elite party where you'll network and make contacts and find a way to generate goodwill with notable individuals that happen to share our state of existence. Correct?
That's more fancies. Operation than money, but yes, in general, it's been a plan to host an event at the hotel.
Yes, this I understand. This is very good business for everyone involved. Save, you pay double because of emergency. And instead of paying double, you simply don't take any of the financial proceeds. I provide what you may or may not need for these individuals. You utilize my contact information so that you lay groundwork for future endeavors that will be very lucrative for all of us. Or I give you to Termir. And I handle everything through our mutual friend.
So you basically sticking me up and saying I gotta go with what you say.
Oh, you can say no. This is fine.
No, I'm not saying no. But I'm saying we should negotiate better because that's not fair what you're proposing at all.
Time, effort, energy. It's very fair. When you have the upper hand, you hold me at gunpoint. I understand this. This is what happens. It is good business. Strong business. We have understanding. I am in a position with a gun. Next time you in position with the gun, you negotiate your way. Of course, you will feel very, very bad if you have gun and I talk you out of your bullets. That would make us very unfriendly. Because it would not be true, would not be right. It would not be, as you say, fair. Because fair is, if you have gun, you dictate term. Person says yes, person says no. You part ways as friends. However, if you have gun, you dictate terms. Person says yes, but then lies. Or maybe. When they talk you out of bullets, you look like fool. Friends don't make friends look like fool.
Nancy takes a very much unneeded centering breath because this man is frustrating and ridiculous. But she will not say that. She's just kind of woosah. So run that by me one more time. You want us to what now?
Enjoy the ambience. I will even, I have already even determined and arranged a service for you to not worry about being tracked by Tremere. You're no longer, it is fine. I have arranged transportation for you so that you can inspect some of the product. You can sample some of the product. And know that I am person of my word. I am kindred of my word, and we have agreement. Or we no longer have agreement, and that's fine. These gentlemen will ensure that you feel the pain of bullets, and you will shut out, and then Tremere will find you and do what they do. And I will take no responsibility for you, nor of the bodies that you stole from them.
Mm-hmm.
And as you all contemplate, as you all look at what is lightly, very brusquely shoved into your gullet, Celeste, while most people believe that speed kills, you know that it's not speed that kills, it's the sudden stop. It's the uncontrolled evacuation of that speed that causes all sorts of problems. So you grit your teeth and you fly along the night roads, occasionally turning off your lights completely and trusting in the force. At other times, you make sure that you are well below the speed limit, because after all, a black on black livery is as eponymous in the area as a Ford 150 anywhere south of Mason-Dixon. You fly through the night. You speed, slow, turn, pause and wait, zoom past, circle back around. You are a absolute danger to anyone who does not have a grasp of exactly what driving is. Driving is strapping yourself to a combustion engine, knowing that while it is a slim chance, it is definitely not a non-zero option that at any point that combustion can misfire. It is a non-zero percentage that at any point your tires could violently implode or explode. There's a non-zero chance that by simply getting into the vehicle, you have trusted in your ability above common sense, because it is very much a fire bad situation. You race headlong through the night, and what was destined to take only 20 minutes takes right at the fullness of 25 and 0.125 minutes to get there. All of the doubling back, all of the hair-raising turns, all of the excess miles you put on your vehicle only amount to just under 6 additional minutes of your travel time. Somewhere out there on the roads right now, somewhere between the northwest portion of Green Valley, Henderson area, and Paradise, somewhere between there and southwest, there are a slew, a gaggle, a unexpected amount of police officers chasing their tails in the dark, pulling over every dark sedan-sized vehicle. And you come to a slow, controlled, easy gliding stop at the dispensary.
It looks like I once again elude death.
Sorry, you were a little low.
Volume's a little low.
I once again elude death.
Yes, stylishly. Unfortunately, there's no Olympic event for driving, but if there were, you're sure that you'd at least place. Oh, here's the question, Celeste. Have you spent time associating with, dealing with, according with the blood trade of Las Vegas? Do you know what the dispensary is?
Well, considering the people I deal with in this town, it's hard to not come across some dispensaries.
So you know that this is the Russians. You know that this is the blood trade. This is the circulatory system that provides the ebb and flow of the haves and soon to have nothing, including their continued immortality of Las Vegas. While not a mandatory publicly traded utility, it is very, very close. It is part of the operational controls in place to keep the kindred from being the monsters that they actually are. In short, it's bad persons making it possible for everyone else to be slightly less bad. And you are here for a job. You've been roped into some kindred goodness. So the question is, do you exit the vehicle, do you go inside, or do you just wait for your livery? Do you wait for several kindred to come up with blood bags in hand and lean nosily in the window? Hey, I'm Jeff. I'm your fare. Are you Simba?
It'd be unsmart of me to blindly walk into a building with who knows what kind of threats inside.
Well, there's a van for a hotel. There are two militarized Humvee, not the commercial civilian release vehicles, but the actual honest to goodness raised body, reinforced undercarriage, huge halogen lamp, and the only thing missing is a mounted actual machine gun. There are two jerry cans on the back of each vehicle, spare tires, and you are sure that the gentleman hovering around the side of the dispensary, that's probably actual gear. That's not costume tactical gear. That is probably actual real tactical gear. And the fact that they're staying just out of sight, yeah, you get the sinking suspicion that this is, well, fuck. You drove all your way here for this?
Oh, beats the worst side of town. Now I can potentially die here instead.
If it is not one thing, it is another.
Yeah.
That's a very good segue point. Contemplations on life and death and what happens in between. In that contemplations, Martha, Fancy, for a big bad evil guy, i.e. a businessman, adult is not very business oriented. It does not appear. There's not really haggling. There's not really what you would expect, and he's not even assuring a return on investment. He literally, there's no way that SWAT team of kindred and thin blood or mortals or whatever the fuck they were that absconded with you could ever be a healthy return on investment if they're not used to actually, well, SWAT something. And then there's the value that he's saying he might reclaim, but what if he doesn't have anything that actually appeals to the blue bloods? What if he just has stock that is not acceptable to your rarefied taste?
Well,
There's a win-win situation, and then there's a lose-lose situation. You gotta decide which one this is.
part of that, though, is realizing if he loses me money, he loses himself money, seeing as how he wants to take the whole entire of the profit.
Mm-hmm.
Fine, I guess we can sample whatever goods. You do realize we all have, the people the party is for have very rarefied taste. If they do not like the offerings at the party, I will get no finances back, which means you will get no finances back.
Let me worry of money. Let me worry of profit. I will find a way to make sure that they are very, very palatable for everyone, my friend. There are things that we have done. I'm not sure you've been paying attention. Were you aware that just recently, as of last year, 2023, there was a technological advancement in the potential offerings that we might offer in the system? A little place in the middle of flyover country, near Milwaukee. They have the kata there have, well, they revolutionized how we can, how do you say, breed the donors, how we can package and promote and market even. Do you know that if you are willing to pay a premium, you can have specific labeling for your brand? And me seeing the future as I have. Well, no, I don't want to spoil all of the trade secrets. This is above your pay grade at this point, as a friend. But yes, I am aware that yours have needs and wants, and well, sometimes you don't even know what you want, so you taste it. Isn't that right, Lita?
I have pretty simple tastes personally, but on another matter, there's a clinic that's run out of the hospital, out of the hotel, and
Yes.
I'd like to ensure its safety if we're going to make some kind of accord.
I don't believe you can do this. What value do we have for all of the drug addicts, the fiends, the forgotten members of society that utilize your clinic? The old, the homeless, the deplorables. It is all fine and good for some, but for us, no. No. They take valuable real estate. Perhaps we can discuss how they might better themselves by, well, signing themselves over to us. They make a few dollars for us in their family, and we have a larger swath of supply that we might use. Because believe it or not, cancer in the blood has such a delicious, gamey awful to it. It makes the blood bubble and dance on the tongue as the sickness courses through it. Do you have any patients with cancer of the blood? This is very, very rare, very, very good feeling. It makes the mouth sing as the cancer works against the blood cells themselves, causing them to pop and explode. It is effectively pop rocks for kindred.
Mm, I'm aware they have a delicate palate, and I have partaken.
Or, now here's the thing. There's been a recent spate of gourmands who are looking forward to the vileness of syphilitic blood. It is a lot of Midwestern kindred have come this way in recent months, and they have found that syphilitic blood is much akin to some liqueur they have, Malort. Do you have any syphilis victims?
I'm certain I can find some if you can arrange a more general protection for the clinic. I can find suitable donors.
We can make this happen. Do you have any clinically depressed blood tests like malt liquor? And there is a penchant, there is several kindred who miss malt liquor, but clinically depressed blood, it is it's not quite hoppy, it's malty on the tongue. That sour sweetness and that packs the punch. And these kindred will play not quite a premium, they will like it cheap, but we don't mind. We can make it work for them.
Yes, I suppose I can make arrangements.
Fancy, you are a member of the black community. Have you found that those with a philia taste very much like Courvoisier, Hennessy, brandy and cognac?
Looks at him for a minute like, I don't believe he just said that. Just kinda... Okay, let's get something straight. I like the fact that you and Martha are getting along. That's lovely. Friends forever, yes, best, okay? But the thing is, you're talking about doing this for the party. That's fine. We can work that out. But the hotel is under my ownership and Mark's ownership. So anything that goes on at the hotel besides this fucking party is nobody else's business but ours.
Well,
What does that have to do with cognac and brandy?
Because you're starting to make the man.
Do you? Oh no, not demands. You are friends, so now you're part of the staff. The tasters for the business aspect of not your personal business, but the business. These business. Do you like cognac, brandy?
not to make too fine a point of it, Fancy, but we're still pretty deep in debt. I mean, I'm not exactly thrilled by the prospect, but
Would you like loan?
getting
You already have one. That's the whole point. That's the problem. We have a loan.
Well, if you have a loan to pay off loan, then you only owe friend. And owing me is much better than some stranger who will gouge the prices. Again, when you have gun, you set terms and move on. Simple, easy, very, very kind. This is what friends do for each other. Will you give me the gun so that I can set terms? And we move on. This is good, yes?
Fancy is realizing that she is outnumbered and outmaneuvered for the moment and is just ready to be done with this whole situation. Okay, so how are we sealing this deal? Are we writing down terms? What
Oh.
are we doing?
No. Friends trust friends. I have gun. I set terms. You say yes or no. You say yes, we move forward. You say no, we don't move forward. You said yes, so we move forward. And when you have the gun, I'm sure that you will set additional, perhaps different terms. My goal as your friend is to put you in a position where you never need the gun. We are friends, and you never answer. As a member of the melanated community, your taste, is there a brandy or cognac that works better for you? Or are you a tequila girl?
Single malt brandy.
Oh, scotch.
Well aged.
This can be arranged. This can be arranged very much. Do you know that if you... No, I'll make it a surprise for you. And then after you sample, you tell me if you enjoy this, and then I'll make sure you have enough of single malt scotch as blood for your cabinet. You keep a drawer like in the old days with your scotch in your rocks glass to the left of your desk, bottom drawer behind the files. Yes?
Part of me wonders how the hell he knows that, and I don't want to ask because I'm a little bit scared at this moment. I just kind of nod. Yeah.
Good. I will make sure you have Vitae, not scotch, that will taste like scotch for you. But now, let's get you to your vehicle, which will take you to the address where you can sample and taste at your leisure, and we will work out terms for loan tomorrow night when more of you are together. I will send Eugene, our mutual friend, to bring you all together. Okay? Come on, let's get you to vehicle. You wouldn't believe how expensive these livery drivers are these days. And just as little as last year, it would only be maybe $1,500. But this one is easily 2-3 times that. Come. We kept them waiting long enough.
One minor thing before we...
Oh, no minors, only adults.
Of course. The bodies we were collecting. Did you have your men do something with them?
No. My scientists.
Waiting for us?
No. My men? No. My scientists, my, how do you say, mythologists? Yes. My men? No, never. They have one job. Fetch, kill. Simple. We keep things simple. That way things are streamlined. We maximize profits by keeping things moving towards the goal of providing the day one way or the other. Either financially or physically.
Mm. And what are your plans for them? If you don't mind my asking as a friend.
How to say this? I'm going to go piss and shit all over the Tremere. I'm going to aggravate, annoy, and antagonize them without ever drawing blood, so that they stop making traps such as these. When I am done, they will be properly frustrated and focused on me. And when they are focused on me, and only when they are focused on me, will I dispatch the bodies. I will need to make sure that they are looking in the right places, instead of chasing You. Good plan, yes?
This is true.
Well, as long as we can take the van, because I put money into that, and I would to say goodbye first.
You say goodbye when we get upstairs. You leave Van with me. Tomorrow night we talk more business. I bring Van back. Jean will use that to ferry you around town. This works for everyone, yes?
Yeah.
Yes, it'll have to.
No guess. Yes? No. Binary.
Yes.
Good. We are of an accord. I like this. I like when things work together.
Fancy,
Worst thing about him leading.
Fancy who had already had her heart broken recently with the death of Celeste, feels her heart breaking into pieces again with this whole situation, but holds it together as she's walking up the stairs.
And then the knife twists. Because there is absolute insult to injury as you turn to move back the way you came in. No, this way. It's much faster. And he gets up away from the table, walks to the far shadowed corner of the basement that you all are in. And there's literally stairs up to the first floor. Out the back into the night sky of Las Vegas. They could have literally walked you around the building to this door and down here without the theater of whatever that was they led you through.
Yeah. Fancy's having an Arya Stark moment. She's putting names on lists.
So, as you all head upstairs out the back and are walking around the side of the building, you realize that there are more of those SWAT tactically geared individuals with the balaclavas and their helmets and their bristling armaments waiting there in the shadows on both sides of the building. The little breezeway from the back of the building along the side. As you all approach the front of the building, sitting there at the curb in the parking space is Celeste, a lovely dark on dark sedan. Sedan, as you see, 4 people moving along the side of the building, dressed non-tactically. Celeste, do you get and open the car, or do you wait for them just to do what they're supposed to do if this was Uber or Lyft?
I'm treating myself as a higher end Uber.
So could you go ahead and describe your sedan?
I have a black Chevy Suburban.
So, Adult is not a small man. He's also not a man that is very much in shape. He's portly, well-fed. At least he was in life, and it continues into death. A little jowly, his orange, red, blondish hair and a buzz cut, not really being all that appetizing to look on. And it was clear that in life he was apoplectic, And in death, again, not much has changed. A slightly less bright hue of pink in the cheeks, but other than that, he and his heavy trench coat, loosely done tie, cut quite the figure compared to Fancy and Martha, who, as you all approach the vehicle, would you be so kind to go ahead and describe yourselves?
Martha is a tall, blonde, and pretty beautiful woman. He is slender. He kind of looks like she would be on TV in the 70s. He's probably dressed in pretty casual clothes.
Fancy is like mocha skinned. Her hair is piled kind of up on her head in a very neat updo with side swept bangs. She's about 5'7", 5'8", on the slightly taller side. Very fit, shaped. Very much, if you've ever seen an actual showgirl, very much that shape. Wearing a dark, almost hunter green suit, and what is currently now a pair of broken heels, and slightly smudged lipstick. So she's kind of like balancing herself as she's walking towards the car, to keep in mind the broken heel.
A dude gets to the car and doesn't even bother greeting you, Celeste. He gives a off-brand half, quarter, tenth of a nod as he opens your back door. Is it unlocked?
I left my door unlocked because I did not want it to be broken.
He opens the door. Ladies, after you.
Of course.
When you all get inside, it is a very good thing that Celeste has a up-to-date vehicle. The shocks, the struts, the springs are all in place. Because when you all get inside, he opens the front passenger door and sits for a second. I don't believe we have had the pleasure to meet in person, only on phone. I am a dude. You are Miss Noir, yes?
Yeah.
Good. I am trusting you with the very existence of my friends. If anything happens to them, I will not kill you. I will keep you alive. As alive as you are with us. Forever. And I will do so by ensuring that you are on a drip feed of vitae directly into your bowels through a feeding tube. And you will also be, how do you say, enamored, so that the vitae that you are being fed, which will bound you to some deplorable nothing of a kindred, and drain the same vitae to feed that kindred, that they are in effect bloodbound to you while you are bloodbound to them, and none of you will leave forever. And when you get to the point where you see them as the love of your life, then and only then will I kill them in front of you, piece by piece, so that you know what it is like to lose or have someone that you care about harm. This makes sense to you, yes? Miss Noir, this makes sense?
Yes.
Good. We have an accord. You take them to, and he presents a card for the Clark County Wetlands Park. A address there, technically on the grounds, but just south of there. Everyone knows it as the RC airfield. There are several industrial forest preserve buildings at that location. You will take them, you will present the card for them to have samples, and you will take them from there to their hotel. You will stay with them, providing them the vehicle they need when they need the vehicle, and I will make sure that you are paid. Are we clear? You understand my voice, yes?
Yes.
This is very good. It is a pleasure to do business with you, Ms. Noir, once again. Enjoy your evening. Have fun. Laugh. Perhaps cry. Maybe. Both. All the same, anything happens to Tim, you are in for a lifetime of pain. Okay?
Of course.
Good. It's good to see you. Have a nice evening. Enjoy your samples, and I will talk to you tomorrow. We'll bring the van by. The bodies will be taken care of, and Eugene will make sure you get to the next point, our meeting. Somewhere neutral this time. It's not fair for our friendship. And he closed the door and he's walking away. He's still talking. It's not fair for our friendship for me to always be the one that is hosting. I'm always bringing people here. I should probably go visit more people when they're out and about. And as his voice gets lower and lower and finally disappears off of your range of hearing, you three are in the vehicle.
Celeste, it's nice to see you again. I'm sorry it's under these circumstances, and I know he threatened your life just now, but trust me, if we would never rat you out. So, I won't say don't worry about what he said, but I'm saying it'll be okay either way, okay?
Okay. Lovely to see you again.
So now, looking at murder, now that I've signed myself verbally into being fucked over, what shall we do with the rest of our night?
Well, I think we are still abiding by his plans for a little bit, but, after that, I think we're free to get back to our own projects, and hopefully we'll have a productive night, maybe.
You realize that if I have my way ever, and I have the gun, there will be no surviving it for him. I hate his guts. But for now, we have to do what we have to do to survive. So, let us go.
But he's such a charming fellow. I wonder who's messing around with revenants in the Midwest.
So the question becomes, do you all stick to the itinerary that he set for you all? Do you head out to William Bennett RC Airfield there off of Broadbent? Or do you do something else?
I don't want to put Celeste in danger, and I know he's probably going to check in with them to see if we showed up. So that's probably the smartest thing to do. Just go there first. Even if we don't go there anywhere else after, we still need to go there. So.
I mean, there's not really a lot of choice in the matter. I mean, he has leverage over us, so I might as well.
Okay, then. We're decided. You know your way to that address, don't you? You can, I guess, put it in GPS or whatever.
Of course.
In the case, as you put it into GPS and you follow along, here's a question for you, Celeste. You have Kindred in the back seat. Again, then the speed limit is only a suggestion, and is not the reality of anything that, unless of course you choose to abide. Do you choose to abide?
Choose to abide. I have avoided cops enough for one night.
Are you sure? Might show off your skill set to them. And this time you have people that can actually witness your greatness.
Well, the man in charge did say if they were harmed, I would face consequences. I value my life, or what's left of it anyway.
So it is a scenic and otherwise placid trip north. You're still on the eastern portion of Las Vegas. The park itself is a lovely out-of-the-way bit of National Forest Preserve territory. The fact that he has found a way to have a depot of sorts on their grounds, speaking further to his potential connections throughout the city. Mortal connections at that. Arriving and there is nothing really to look at. I mean, it's a beautiful park. Lots of trees that don't belong in this particular climate nor environment and require several thousand man-hours to remain living. From the absolutely frigid evening to the absolute desert daylight hours, the trees planted here require a near constant hydration and protection from frost. And luckily, because of the climate, there aren't many bugs that make themselves home in the wood. However, other things do. Various bacteria that heat up and freeze on a constant level, and they become resistant to normal means of treatment. So as you all approach the beautiful, though nothing to look at, park, the preserve, you can see off in the distance in the various trees still rangers and loggers and various other individuals tending the trees off there in the distance as you approach the depot belonging to Adult. And as you all approach and you're taking in the scenery, Fancy, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your intelligence plus subterfuge? And Martha, as you approach this pristine bit of natural beauty, as you get here to the depot on the grounds of the Forest Preserve, is there any consideration about mystical, occult, or semi-business?
Well, I hadn't really thought about it, but I guess I could try to see what my sense would pick up if I'm getting a weird vibe.
You are, and here's the reason why. Less distance than it would take to make your way across the grounds of the MGM Grand. There is a river that runs abutting this portion of the preserve. It was originally believed to be man-made because, mankind takes credit for all sorts of things. But it is an honest to goodness river that runs across nearly completely across the width of Vegas. The river here empties out in the detention basin. Now, it running through the city all the way to the 15 is mostly man-made, but it's not created by man. It is simply reinforced. It is very much one of the natural waterways that made Las Vegas palatable back in the day. Back in the long, nearly forgotten past, the waterways were always there. They just ran deeper than the technology at the time was able to pull to the surface without it being extraordinarily costly. This part of the wash basin, a series of interconnected and cross-connected rivers that ran deep under the desert, have been mostly excavated, built up, and supported by additional means. It is a huge drain on the city's resources to keep them from emptying out completely. However, the fact that they're not emptied out completely, they are allowed to move at their want and will. What do you remember about where the places of magic are at their strongest?
Boundary places are always kind of weird. Oases like this are usually going to be a little stronger with magic than other places, and places where there's been a lot of interesting stuff happening, but I'm not aware of that here. But
From your vantage point here in the parking lot, you can see several mountain ranges that take up nearly the full width and breadth of the distance. Those mountains abut the thin clouds that are floating by, obfuscating and obscuring the moon and stars above. This place where the desert meets the forest is weird, to say the least. The efforts to maintain this grove of trees. The understanding from your training and travels and reading that trees were some of the first worshipped deities of mankind. Their sacrifice providing homes for mankind, creating places where fire might alight, which was mankind's first technological advancement. There's very little chance, and of course you purposely tune it out, that you don't realize why Adult may have inadvertently chosen this location. It's where things that shouldn't be possible in a desert occur. Water, greenery, and it's fed and watered by the will and energy of humanity. While you're contemplating that, Fancy, that sign says Forest Preserve. And most people, most non-venture who have not been forced into understanding the ebb and flow of business, or those who have not been forced to understand that the government, every government, national, local, state, county, city, neighborhood association, are all at their very base businesses. And businesses always hate when their toes are stepped on or when their potential individual profits are affected. This space, the reason why adult is partially choosing and selecting and using this space is the fact that it is national, federal property. Individuals who have ties and connections to local law enforcement, they couldn't touch this place if they wanted to. Those who have ties or connections with county officials couldn't touch this place if they wanted to. The employees that work here are federal employees. It is a safety net. And not to put too fine of a point on it, nets could be used to strangle people. You can choke a son of a out with a good net.
I don't know why this feels like a trap. It feels like a trap. But then, in a way, he can't really do anything with the fucking hotel because it's under our name and all that shit. But I don't know. I'm anxious about this.
You should be. Celeste, would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your resolve plus composure? Because the last time you were out here, last time you were out this way, last time you were close to this location, you inadvertently were an aid and abettor to a capital crime, i.e. a murder. You didn't actually do anything but drive the car, but your client dumped the body out here. You know exactly where, or at least you have an idea as to roughly how far from Broadbent body was dumped. You know that directly southeast by 45.2 degrees from where you're presently parked, there is a Dough Donuts booth and stand just north of the old Silver Bowl. 125 feet from there, just outside of the range of the path lights that they have, there is a patch of dirt that was dug. And under that patch of dirt, there's an oil can. In that oil can, in that oil drum, are the remains of your client's victim. And yeah, you know, life is cheap. But as you think about it, that extra $7,500 really wasn't worth it at this point because there's no statute of limitations on murder. You managed to keep the ghost from the past from causing trouble in the present. But we both know that you know. And by both, It is your present conscious mind as well as that little voice that never stops demanding sustenance. That little voice at the base of your skull that even now is gently kicking the bars of its cell. This might be a lot easier if you would just find someone to fight. This night would have been so much smoother and easier. That fucker was inside doing things that would ruin his name. He'd give you anything at all. The full width and weight of all of his blood, I'm sure, as long as you leave him enough to get to the hospital on. You could have been well fed. You could have been satiated. But no, you came here to deal with this. And it goes on and on and on and on. It doesn't stop. It is literally that annoying, overly energetic, and surprisingly dry know-it-all that's constantly mansplaining to you what you could be doing. You can sneak off there into the trees. Well, one of the employees right now. I'm sure one of them has that Ivy League education. Come on, Celeste. Come on, Celeste. And it keeps going on and on and on. So as you all sit looking at the facility ahead of you, do you actually all bother to even leave the vehicle, or do you spend the last few hours of the evening watching all of that out there?
Look up into nature. We'll see what there is to be seen here.
Well, I don't see no buildings, so where are these people supposedly at that we're supposed to be taste testing?
Celeste knows where those buildings are. She could lead the way.
Else, since I know the buildings around here, I might as well leave. That's okay. Everybody else.
Well, we'll follow your lead then.
I think I really gotta start carrying like knives or something because I am tired. Actually, I'm just gonna take the fucking shoes off while I'm at it. Much as I hate the idea of that.
I really need to get a gun. Like an actual one, not a metaphorical one.
And I guess off we go into the night.
You do. It is a far quicker trek than you were expecting. You were expecting to have to run all over God's green earth, or in this case, God's brown and green earth, to find the depot buildings where the emergency supplies and stock and all of that for the forestry department is. It's clear that it's been co-opted. It's clear that he has had his way with the system, with the National Forest Department, this forestry department that is still working even at night, because it takes a lot of effort to keep this portion green. And only as you all near the building and no one really intercedes that you realize that Adult, the madman that he is, has co-opted a federal department. And as you finally reach the building, one of them descends from the trees and she looks you guys up and down. Is there something about you all that she can tell is only here for what's inside. And that you know what's inside. Because what's inside is a pumping plant, a pumping facility, a pumping station, and not for oil. Inside, as you all enter behind various glass cases connected via IV and various other signs of medical equipment to keep them cognizant, are individuals rung around the space. There's little tap cups where the end of their line empties into cups in front of each of them. You all have to make the effort to, well, turn the little knob and cause them to drip freely, but this is clearly, you see, age, weight, profession, income, whether they have a family or not. The note on the glasses in front of each of these donors is very much like a wine list made for a sports bar. This is Joe. He's a 28-year-old Ivy League graduate. Father of 3. Married twice. Enjoys sports and making money. Current portfolio, roughly $750,000. This is Joyce. Homemaker, Baron, firefighter, former. Graduate of City College. This is Antiquarius Jones, police officer. Administrative leave. 39 years old. Born on the East Coast. And the part that really gets to you all, or at least stands out, is that there are flavor notes for each. Sweaty. Active. Gamey. Hints of fruit. Hair notes. Very citrusy.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I can forget what we are. But this reminds us very clearly. Hair notes.
So you're drawn to the lighter fruit notes. You find yourself standing there looking at the flavored notes for that particular donor. Do you turn the spigot and sample what lays before you?
Part of me wants to, but then I remember that they're not quite my taste. I need to find somebody a little more like me, a little more dancery. So I wander through looking for showgirl slash performer slash dancer.
Martha, Celeste,
Yeah. Hmm. I don't know if I've ever actually used a taste for a bidet. I can use my sommelier abilities here. What looks good on the menu?
finding something considerably more rarefied than the donors offered presently. You find what is effectively a small batch, single pot, single still, and unfortunately, for your ethical sense of self, it is absolutely delicious. There's a peaty essence to it. Instead of using a double mellowed charcoal, no ash or aspen, it's clearly that they used an actual charcoal made of something hardier. You're picking up notes of cinnamon. There's a mouth feel that lends itself very, very easily towards something with an essence of corn to it, with a nice little metal fire that followed along with that first sample. This person was a fighter in life, and it tastes delicious. Fancy. Looking over the flavor notes and following and trusting your senses, you find, unfortunately, Arlene Adams, who was in your 2014 graduating class. After a certain point, dancers reach the point where they can continue training, but they're self-motivated enough to do it themselves at the same pace and higher than the routine that they need. That's what you all consider graduation. And of course, you all can come back and retouch up their skills, but after a point is diminishing return, being forced to memorize, learn, and train in the way that they formerly did and formerly do at your studio. A graduation is a dancer that's gotten so competent that they either must succeed or, well, give up the art. Charlene was one of those that graduated. And unlike some of the others, she never went to the blood trade. She never worked at casting couches to get herself. No. She put herself through dental school and had a good fallback plan. She was investing smartly even then. And yet to see her as the tears well up at the corners of your eye, you're drawn to the blood. It's there. There's no point and no sense of it going to waste, even if you do know where it comes from. And Celeste, knowing what you know, and being typically too busy to be in places like this is one of the few times you found yourself inside places like this. Do you partake of the sampling? Do you feed the beast?
Might as well feed if I'm with everyone else. And being a creature who has a rarefied palate, I go off to look for any middle-aged person that's yelling or showcasing their beliefs.
Someone that fits your palate is far easier than you expected in this selection of donors. And while in your heart of hearts, you know that if it's too good to be true, it is, yet you can't deny the proof of your own senses. Their particular flavor is calling you. A nearly rotund white male named Dave, Chief Intelligence Officer for a Fortune 1000 company, themselves through business school, as well as attained 3 masters in finance. A devout Catholic, even though he's been single the entirety of his life. There's definitely some shadowed life this person holds to have ended up here. Calls to you. Calls you by your name and then some. He partakes. It shouldn't be as good as it is. Yet it is. And you're sure the overhead for meal replacement, liquid nourishment is considerably less than having to feed them all prepared meals. You don't have to pay the staff, you don't have to pay the cook, you don't have to pay for the dishes and utensils that need washing, so there's no need to hire a dishwasher. You don't have to overburden one person by sitting and watching them because they are all prepped and ready and behind glasses. All there is a turn of a knob and you get several grams from them, several sampling draughts. Easy peasy. It removes all of the usual burdens of hunting from you. And it makes it so much worse considering that sight unseen, adult has flavor that work with your particular rarefied state. And as you all sample,
You said there was glass between us and the person, right?
yes.
Okay, so I can't reach out and touch her.
No, you can always break the glass.
No, I'm not going to do that. She's already probably been here a while, and I wouldn't want to torture her and bring her out of it. So I just kind of put my hands on the glass and whisper that I'm sorry, and then I pour myself a little bit and close the spigot back off and take a sip.
As you take a sip, try not to make lasting, longing eye contact with her. You glance around and you see that Celeste is also taking a sip. Now Martha is also taking a sip. You don't know if particularly what the warlocks may have working against them, but you do know what each patrician, each blue blood has working against them. The fact that out of sight unseen, he has 2 donors for 2 differing blue bloods. Perhaps he has cracked the code. Donors that are palatable to, as he said previously, everyone. What sort of research would he have had to do to, what sort of planning would he have had to accomplish? What sort of insider knowledge of your plan would he have had to be able to pull this off?
As I finish up my sip, I walk back to Martha. I wonder if he had a way to get the books somehow. Or if they were he had access to them in the first place before they were stolen.
Hmm. It's possible. Or, that Yuji being quite talkative.
Yeah, but these people have been here for a little bit. Unless he's just really good at guessing. I don't think so, though. He's very much absolute. So.
I mean, you blue blood types are known for having specific tastes. I mean, it's not unreasonable for a man in his line of work to have, a little bit of everything to cater to those kind of needs.
Yeah, I'm aware we're peculiar like that, but it is what it is. I think I'm ready to go. We should get out of here now that we've tasted the wares.
You
So you guys are confident with his proof of concept, even if you're not confident as to how he obtained them. As Celeste leads you all back and out, you realize that you're not alone coming to visit. As you all make your way down the path back toward the vehicle, you realize that there are two other vehicles pulling in next to you all. Pleasure vehicles, sedans, SUVs, the sort of thing that you see in, well, corporatized America. Livery vehicles for those who work for a living. And you realize you may not be the only investors forced, coerced, and otherwise partnering with a dude. And with that consideration weighing over everyone's head, I thank you all for a lovely episode, and we'll see you guys next time. Good night, everybody.
All right, off we go.
Good night.